Hello, Thaddeus. I'm finally leaving Springfield for what I assume is good, unless, to be a jerk, some company in Springfield offers me a job, which, that'd be my luck. Anyways, instead of spending this time explaining how cricket works because, well, I had to get stuff packed and things like that, that will come later, and instead I made a tribute to Springfield where I went and visited a bunch of the places that I liked to go in Springfield.
And that there is Bambino's, where we spent a significant amount of time hanging out, chatting, eating glorious soup on Glorious Soup Day. And we managed to go the entire time without ever having to buy Jessica's meal for her, no matter the insistence of the waitstaff. And for a couple of you, this house will have a bit of significance to it. I know some of you are quite far away, so I hope you enjoy the memories. I know that I certainly have. And this is T-Bites, perhaps my favorite restaurant in Springfield. I spent quite a lot of time there sitting, drinking some tea while reading a book. A lot of memories of this place doing pretty much just that. And this is Nathaniel Green Park, where for the first 2 summers I actually lived down here, I would ride my bike along that path and go out towards Wilson's Creek along the whole Greenways Trail, which was quite a ride, and I rather enjoyed it, especially in like the fall when the leaves would crunch underneath the wheels of the bike as you zoomed along. But then also over there's a bunch of gardens, and up even further is the Japanese stroll garden, which I've snuck into before with various people, well, person. And then there's the bench where I've sat and watched the sun rise. And there's some more stuff back in there. Probably one of my favorite places, and places I've been the most in Springfield, just to walk and clear my mind, particularly because they do have all the gardens and flowers, and most of that I've done before I ever got Marty, because I got him when I lived on the north side of town. This is actually the first time I've ever brought him here. Well, in the words of Tolkien, it's a shortcut to mushrooms. And this here is one of the better parts of the park. I really like when those grasses are full grown. You kind of turns into a little bit of a maze. They're so big. And then you just see all the little other plants here. And I would go and take my book and go read in that gazebo over there, the flowers. And this is Marty just getting himself all wrapped up in the cord. Marty, you're ridiculous. So this here is the Wilson's Creek Greenways Trailhead. It's where I'd ride my bike out to from the Nathaniel Green Park. Fair ride those 2 summers. You'd ride all the way out here, and it's quite a bit of good exercise. There's the ruins of the silo out here. There used to be some sort of farmstead here or something. Somewhere there's actually a thing that kind of tells you a little bit more about it, but it's been so long since I've read it, I don't really remember what it is. So this here is one of those kind of old, tucked away graveyards, family plots, that you just kind of see everywhere, old places. This is apparently dedicated to a veteran of the Battle of Wilson's Creek. They ended up here. And it's just kind of one of those things where I have this odd thing about graveyards in that you just have memorials to people who, nobody even knows who this person was. They don't even have a relic of them. At best, they're just kind of some person on, a record sheet for genealogy. Like this person, and they died in 1890, over, 100 years ago. No one alive today is really actually knows this person. Luckily, we even have, like, a photograph of this person. They were born, died an inconceivable amount of time ago that we just cover in history. But it always kind of just makes me wonder about, like, the purpose of memorials to the dead. Within a couple generations, they're kind of meaningless. People don't know who they are. Like, again, here's people born before the Civil War and died not long after. See these ones over here, again, old gravestones. They lived through the war. Their corpses are probably rotted away under the ground. But it's just always this kind of odd fascination about memorials to the dead and what we're supposed to take of them, especially when they're people we didn't know. I mean, we could learn a lot anthropologically from them, things like that. But, you know, so I don't even know if this family's even around in this area anymore. You know, they're buried here. It's their ancestors, but do people today for this family even remember this plot? So this here is Wilson's Creek. It's also the first place I ate a tomato consciously and remember not hating it. Still not a fan of tomatoes by themselves though, so there's that. But this is where I'd kind of take a break from riding my bike and sit down and think and watch as the waters went by. And right, downstream from here is where the Wilson's Creek battlefield is. And when people think of the Civil War, they think of, Chattanooga, Bull Run, Antietam, the Second Battle of Bull Run. I don't know why I was so much of an expert on the Bull Run battlefields. Gettysburg, Vicksburg, the burning of Atlanta, those sorts of things. But, with some of these key battles over here, like the Battle of Wilson's Creek and the Battle of Springfield, that led to the Union troops being able to take on the Mississippi, or the Mississippi, and cut off supply lines in the South. I think it led to the siege of Vicksburg in a way or another, but it was a very important battle, and it doesn't really ever get talked about because people tend to not think about the fact that there were a lot of battles out west to be able to control the Mississippi because, well, it's a major trade route, and then you could actually come down the river and cut off support to the south all around and make a full blockade. But it's just kind of thinking about the fact that, so many people died just right over that way, trying to fight a war that, for all points and purposes, really didn't have a, lot of effect other than to devastate the South and get a lot of people killed. And sure, slavery was ended and all of that, but, a lot of what people fought for, they didn't really accomplish much. It didn't do a lot for their day-to-day lives. The poor farmers who got involved in it, they didn't really have much of a stake in the war. There's Marty. He's all happy. He gets to be outside. And I think we tend to forget about the fact that that war wasn't even really all that long ago. I mean, these are like great-great-grandparents and great-great-great-grandparents. I mean, it's only been 3, 4, maybe 5 generations ago that our ancestors were fighting this war. And then we sit here in these places where they walked along with just technology that seems antiquated, that seems like it just belongs in some sort of farmstead historical stop-by that you go to on vacation. I'm sitting here with a camera that can record in, 1080p, filming a creek, while my dog tries to play ninja over there. And now he's eating grass. But it's just, these are where they were. And you can kind of tell that this creek used to run along through this whole area over there. It washed this whole area out, even longer before it was ever approached for a battlefield, when the glaciers were melting and the receding, or even when this area was an inland sea. It's a lot of history to a place like this, and we never even really stopped to think about it too much. It's just kind of, for us, a nature park. And here the bridge is out. It doesn't actually have any significance to me. I've never actually even gone up this far on the road, but I'm not going to go out to the old wire bridge, which, I've been there once or twice. I just don't find it that significant. It's also kind of way out of my way, and I don't want to drive that far. Marty, get back up here. But this will have to do. I just thought it was neat to see a bridge out. I think they actually destroyed it because it's never been in that good of condition, I don't think. I don't actually even know where this road goes. So this here is part of the Dry Sack Trail. I really like this field up here. It kind of reminds me of kind of more New Englandy areas where you've got a field, and especially when you came here in like the fall and they mow this over and turn it into hay bales that they got along there. Kind of has that field idea of, hey, here's this field that we've cut into the wilderness of the woods, and it kind of takes the shape of the natural area. Just kind of gives you that feel of an enclosed little area, and you're going to find like a nice little old farmhouse and a apple cider days kind of place. You know, something up there. Find a couple of rock walls. I really do have a thing for rock walls. More people need to incorporate those into architecture. So this is where the trail ends, or it used to end at least, because they now finished up the rest of the Dry Sack Trail and it goes out to some elementary school. And I once walked that whole thing. It's like a 5-mile round trip. There's some neat stuff there, like you could see the silos of the albino farm. I don't know if you could actually reach the albino farm from there. There's some paths and whatnot, but I didn't go explore them. Also, some guys got some skulls nailed up on trees at the edge of his property, borderlining the trail, and then right behind them is a concrete frog. But this is where, usually even in the dry season, like there'll be a trickle of water coming up here, and it's where the creek starts to come out from under the ground. And you can, I have kind of nice memories of wading down this part of the creek, and it's pretty pristine, fresh, clear water. You can go and see like just crawdads everywhere, some that are pretty decent size, and then there's some fish in there as well that are pretty nice to look upon. I sadly haven't really gotten to go down it again anytime recently. I kind of miss that. It's fun to go play in a creek, but and there's kind of some more creek view that Marty wanted me to see because he was yanking me over there. So that's about it for Dry Sack. Don't really have much else attached to this place other than that. And over there is the boathouse where my friend used to work, and I would come down here and we'd sit there and while away a whole afternoon just sitting there talking until she got off from work. And here's this little rock outcropping that anytime I'd kind of feel lonely and depressed, or like I needed to get away from it all, I would come up here, look down kind of over the lake, watch things go by, and spend a few hours maybe reading or writing something. It's a really nice getaway place that I spent quite a lot of time just chilling out here and collecting my thoughts and trying to figure out where I was going in my life. And this spot has always kind of reminded me of that famous German Romantic painting. I think it's Wanderer Above the Sea Fog. I want to say it's by Frederick or something like that. It's that one where he's kind of just perched there and he just kind of has this epic little pose and you see him from behind, which a lot of paintings like that guy did, I think. Or at least people from behind. And he's just looking out over a landscape that really you can't see much of anything. I mean, there's some trees off in the distance, but most of the rest of the scenery is covered by just immense fog that's just kind of whipping up above him. Well, not above him, but around him. And so it kind of puts him on this sort of epic grand scale that I just don't think is really possible anymore. And especially in a postmodern era. Romanticism is pretty much dead. But yet we still have kind of views like this where you just kind of wish it weren't.
And so I'd like to thank everybody in Springfield who helped make this place home and helped me go from a 20-year-old anxiety-ridden person who could barely even leave the house into somebody that actually enjoys kind of what they're doing and where I'm going in life. So thank you very much to all of you. And I hope that those of you who have already left are doing well, and those of you that are leaving soon, which is the rest of you almost, will also find yourself doing well in the near future. And for those of you who are stuck in Springfield still longer, you'll get out someday, or you'll really, really enjoy it here. I will see you in the future.